Alright, guys, what up? It's your boy Chief from Gooner Eagle. Oh my gosh, the starts of that was so horrendous. Let me try that again. What up, people? It's your boy Chief from Gooner Eagle. Coming to you again with a brand new video. This time I'm coming to you very late night because by the time I pre-recorded my video during my lunch break and then came back, pretty much half of the stories I talked about have been updated, and I just didn't feel comfortable putting it out. So I thought, let me just sit back, see what the stories do. It's been a bit of a slow day in terms of transfer stories today, to be fair. So I'm just going to focus on the main things that happened today: the Nacho stuff, the Kavaya stuff, whatever his name is, and focus on the tyranny and the Salaba deal. Those are the four stories I'm going to, in particular, concentrate on. I'll go in the chat, do what I do, and then leave you guys to it for the night. Cool? All right, let's do this. First things first. So Sky's Kavor Shlakul. Let's pretend that's his name. Probably seen the story by now, but he's come out and claimed that his belief is that Arsenal have more than 45 million, and everybody's reacting in different ways. Some are saying, "See, I told you so." Some are saying, are then saying, "Okay, well, why is it taking us so long to close out the tyranny deal? This, that, and the other." To my knowledge, this man is an Arsenal insider. Why is this such a big story? I don't understand. If this was a journalist, this wouldn't even be getting airtime. In fact, just to put it into perspective, Daily Mirror's Darren Moore said the exact same thing today. Basically, he came out and he said that the 40 million bid that we forwarded for Wilfred Zaha was disrespectful. Arsenal have more than 40 million. That didn't make any headlines. But Sky's Kavor Shlakul, or whatever his name is, came out and made a similar declaration, and suddenly he's making all these headlines. To me, he hasn't said anything particularly shocking. There's nothing that he said that shows me that is proof that we have more money than the 45 million that's being reported. Truth be told, even if it is accurate what he's saying. So I think a lot of people knew that. In fact, I would argue that a lot of people are pissed off because they know we have more than 45 million. And they're wondering what has happened to all our cash. So I don't understand why all of this is suddenly a massive story for people. Nothing that was said today, I didn't know yesterday about that situation. Do I believe Arsenal have more than 45 million? Probably. They really wanted to make a signing for Wilfred Zaha. Do I think they could get it over the line? Yeah. In fact, just to put it into perspective, because I don't understand why people are going nuts, unless somebody can direct me to a quote where I see something different, where I've missed something or missed part of this story. But I'm going to start reading some quotes here. Arsenal have up to 70 million available to make an improved bid for Crystal Palace Wilfred Zaha. This report right here has declared it like it's a fact. This is the opinion of Kavor Shlakul, and he's told the transfer show that Arsenal. Sorry, I'll come back to that story in a second. He goes, "We know that Arsenal have made a bid for 40 million, and we know that Crystal Palace are not going to sell him for any kind of money, for that kind of money. He's looking for at least, they are looking for at least double of that if they decide to let him go. People are expecting Arsenal to come back in with another bid. We've spoken to people involved in the negotiations, and an improved bid has not yet been made. There is every expectation Arsenal will make that improved bid. Interestingly, we've read that Arsenal's transfer budget this summer. Read, Motherfuckers, you guys have been reporting it as well. Sorry, that's my own little tidbit on that one. Interestingly, we've read that Arsenal's transfer budget, summer budget, this summer. Sorry, this fucking doesn't really make sense. Interestingly, we've read Arsenal's transfer budget this summer because they missed out on the Champions League. It's just 45 million plus what they can raise from selling players. We kept reading that 45 million. No, you've kept reporting that more like. But people are thinking, why are Arsenal trying to sign a player who Crystal Palace are saying is worth 80 million if they only have 45? I think that's something I've said, right? What I've been told is that if it suits Arsenal that people think that they only have 45 million. Well, duh. Because they get into negotiations of a player, the selling club's going to think that Arsenal don't have much money. What I've been told is that it's a bit of a smokescreen and Arsenal can go up to 70 million to buy Wilfried Zaha. 70 million is the point at which they would walk away. They should walk away for a lot less than that. We've been told to. We have just. We have to take it with a pinch of salt that Arsenal only have 45 million. They're one of the biggest clubs in the world. We are not talking about 300 million for Neymar. This is 70 million in total. I think Arsenal can do that. What is he said that we didn't already know? What is the I'll tell you what, I'll take that back. Probably the only thing that I get out of that story that I didn't know yesterday is that Arsenal value him potentially up to 70 million. That's the story. Not that Arsenal can spend up to 70 million. We knew this. How many times have we sat in our seats and said, hold on, these motherfuckers are supposed to have cash reserves of X amount. We knew this. We know that some certain deals get structured over periods of time. A good example is Ndombele that Spurs have just bought. They're paying 65 million. They're paying that over 5 years. It's going to cost. So they're not just doing it up front. They're going to pay over 5 years. Daniel Levy always does his deals like that. Arsenal only recently started to do their deals like that. None of this to me has been a surprise. So people need to calm down a little bit. Does it mean Arsenal suddenly cash rich? Just means that the guys basically said Arsenal are one of the biggest clubs in the world. If they want a player, they'll get the player. They want Wilfried Zaha that bad, a player who actually wants to come to us, they'll get it. That's basically what he said. This is not a surprise. Everyone needs to calm down. Calm down. On this, and I guess it goes back to my original point, it looks like Arsenal will come back in for a second and possibly a third bid. As you've seen by the story, they clearly want him very badly. They have 2 backups for Wilfried Zaha if it doesn't come off, which I'll go into in a second. But this to me was the story. The story wasn't Arsenal have up to 70 million available. No, the story was that Arsenal actually value Wilfried Zaha up to 70 million. I think it's been well documented by now that for me, I don't rate him anywhere near the 70 million. If it was me, I'd bail out after 50 million plus maybe Chambers. And if they don't want that, then bounce. My gosh, this guy is not Ronaldo out here that we need to be bending over backwards. And the one time we break the bank, we're doing it over Wilfried Zaha. I'm still not comfortable with this concept. But it looks like Arsenal badly want him. I think a lot of what is driving this is actually Emery. Emery highly rates him. I think he was very impressed with what Zaha did when Palace came to the Emirates last season. He only got 1 goal, but let's be real here, Zaha ran that show, as he always does when he plays Arsenal. And we now know why. It's because he's a fan of the club and he wants to do well, and we're probably auditioning for moves every time he played well against us. We'll see what happens. Arsenal do have 2 backups in case this deal does not happen. No, it's not the person I actually want. But Potentially, they're lining up Sarr from Rennes. The only problem with that deal is that Sarr and Roma are currently in negotiations, as Roma are potentially looking to buy him for 36 million. So that's one of our options gone. And then obviously this free transfer that, oh, sorry, not what? I'll come back to the free transfer. And then Malcolm on loan. So it's been understood today that Barcelona have offered Arsenal the opportunity of signing Malcolm on loan, which, to be honest with you, wouldn't be a bad idea, especially for a club who doesn't have a lot of money. And if you wanted to check this player out, this was a player that we were strongly linked with a year ago. For whatever reason, it hasn't gone right at Barcelona. Maybe it'd be a good opportunity to test him out and see what he's got, and try him on that right-hand side. It'd be a bit of a bummer for someone like Reece Nelson, who's 19 and is just begging to play. You've got this 21-year-old that's just mosey on in and just claim the place. But let's see what happens. But it seems to be, stories seem to be active. There's just not enough closing out of the stories for our liking. But it seems like Arsenal are prepared to really go far with this Zaha thing. You know what? For me, I don't rate him, but do what you've got to do, but do it quickly. Because forget anything else. We don't have a lot of time. We're going to America soon. And we've got one signing in the bank, and that's the Brazilian kid. We need to move quickly. That's my worry about this whole thing. But yeah, let's see what happens. Speaking of deals that seem to be taking forever to close out. So the belief is that there was some kind of breakthrough today with William Saliba. A fee has finally been agreed for 30 million euros. How that is being paid, I don't know. But that is believed to be the fee. We obviously know that personal terms have been agreed. So presumably a medicals to follow, I don't know. Arsenal do keep things like medicals and stuff shrouded in secrecy. So who knows? I've said it for some time that I think this deal is a lot further on than is being reported. I did say that last week. I actually think a lot of people think the Tyranny deal is done. Actually, I think this is done. I think this is more or less done. And I've said that last week. I expect to start hearing stories about this Friday, Monday, something close to being done. So keep an eye on that William Saliba deal. Speaking of Kieran Tierney, so there is a story. I'm going to try and see if I can say his name. I don't want to butcher it. So Celtic have obviously been on the lookout for a replacement for Kieran Tierney. Yeah, for Kieran Tierney, and I'm going to try and say his name. Me and Dave's. Right. Here we go. So it looks like, oh my gosh, I'm never going to say that name. Bolioni Mambo. Bolioni Mambo. Oh, whatever. Before, basically, that is supposed replacement for Kieran Tierney. I'm trying to find a little bit more information about Bolly. Let me see. So they believe that Kieran Tierney bought the club. I know there was a lot of talk about the fact that he's a bit of a homeboy and he doesn't want to leave Scotland, but he knows that he needs to further this opportunity onwards. There's been a lot of talk about Napoli. If you notice, I've not really mentioned Napoli. Bolly's obviously now in Scotland trying to finalise his move to Celtic. Kieran Tierney is having discussions with his agent constantly about interested clubs. I think this is a little bit further away than people think. I know I've seen a lot of people say that they believe the deal is done, this, that, and the other, but I think I can believe that we're still trying to negotiate the fee. I really do. I can see Arsenal being as stingy as possible in this situation, but at least them buying a fullback gives us hope. One thing I will say, Celtic did let go of a fullback this summer, and this guy merely could be a replacement for that left back that they let go. So it's important to keep that in mind. Just because they bought a left back doesn't necessarily mean it's Kieran Tierney's replacement. So it's important to have perspective on all these things. I know that Arsenal were also linked with an RB Leipzig right back. I'm trying to find the name of that right back, Lucas Kosterman. Don't know a lot about this kid. Doesn't have amazing stats to his name, but he's obviously someone that they're looking to bring in. 23 years old. This story is according to Blind, the German article. And also Atletico are looking at Kosterman as well. Obviously someone that can compete with Hector Bellerin. Speaking of Hector, he looks well. He's finally trimmed his long hair, thank God. Trimmed his hair, looking nice and fresh face, and he's working hard to return. And we've missed Hector. We missed him. And if we can get an actual right back in, I'm all for it. I think that's pretty much it in terms of the stories. I was going to talk about the Lacazette story, but since all the buys between Atletico Madrid spending that crazy money buying who they bought, and Barcelona looks like they're on the verge of buying Griezmann, that looks to have killed any stories revolving Lacazette, so I won't go into that. So yeah, João Felix, yes. What the name of him for a second. Let me go into the chat room, see what you lot are saying before I kick out of here. If you haven't already, please do stick a massive thumbs up. I know you guys are always a bit slow with that, but if you could do that right now, that would be brilliant. This helps move shit along. It helps the video get noticed, truth be told. So I'm saying 11 likes, 55 people watching. Come on, guys. I know you're better. Move shit along. It helps the video get noticed. Oh, sorry about that. Hearing myself. Evening to everybody in the chat. Evening VP, Gary. Hello from Cape Town. Welcome, Philip. Welcome. Yo, Wilson. Chig, thoughts about the Zaha price? Do you think we will offer? I don't know about the 70 million that Cavor has worked the fan base up with, but I can see us making I don't see us going past 50, to be honest. Nor should we. I think if we can make it work while getting rid of a couple of French players, that's what we should be doing. And that's what I would be doing. It's a smoke screen. William Saliba. Hey, I might sign for Arsenal. Well, apparently William Saliba's in the house. I just wonder why people do that. Hold on, let me put this keys on timeout. It's installments. We don't have more than 45 million. Who knows, mate? Who knows? Chip, thoughts on the Fekir link? I was going to talk about the story. I did mention it yesterday. I like Fekir. I always have done. I think he's a good player. I'll be honest with you. My gut feeling is unless Mesut Ozil decides to leave the club, and I did see Mesut Ozil's comments today, spitting some bars about, oh, how he loves the fans or whatever. If you really love the fans, you'd leave. But anyway, part of me feels like I can only see Fekir leaving if Mesut Ozil leaves. You know what I would love? I would love us to get Fekir on loan somehow. And then just bench Ozil. Bench him because he ain't good enough. and then pay Fekir there because he's a better number 10 in every single way than Messi. He is. He just is. If you're going to play a number 10, he's more versatile as well. He can play left, he can play right. He's a dead ball specialist. I can't begin to describe how much I want us to get some kind of dead ball specialist in the transfer window. We miss not having one. We really do. Shig tells us to like the video non-stop. AJ, that's part of having a YouTube channel, mate. You don't like it, you don't like it, but that's part of having a YouTube channel. You have to get people to have attention onto your video. If it annoys you, sorry, not sorry. Oh, so imagine bitching about telling people to like the video. People liked it and I wouldn't be bitching. Top man cheer. Yes, Tayu. I hope you're good, brother. Sign Gary Gaho. No, thank you. Arsenal does everything in slow-mo. On that basis, then now. Thank you, Andre. Appreciate it. The king is here. Oh, no. Trouble has arrived. Don Juan's in the house. Don't you think Lee Gunner looks like Monreal? Lee, I didn't say that. If you're watching this back, I didn't say that. Oh, dear. That is a first. I don't see the Nacho Monreal. I don't even really see the Peter Crouch. I'm still on White Aubameyang. White Aubameyang. I've told him that before. So I'm all right sharing that with you. He's White Aubameyang. Nacho Monreal Peter Crouch was too random. Oh, shit. Fekir for 30 million, Malcolm on loan would be good business. Yeah, to be honest, Brandon, I'd be all right with that personally. I know a lot of people might be a little bit disappointed because the idea of, trust me, if we get this Zaha deal over the line, people will be talking about how amazing he is and how he could do this and how he could do that. When you spend big money on a player, Arsenal fans love making excuses for that player. It's been a pattern since forever. So I'm not entirely convinced by Zaha, but if he comes on board, I will support him. I will support him as much as possible because I do think he has good attributes that I think we would like. But I agree with you. I think Malcolm and Fekir on loan, I think that would be all right. Get some defenders in, mind you. Get the Tyranny deal over the line. I don't think that would be bad business. I don't necessarily buy into this idea that we need this Ramsey replacement. I'm not entirely convinced by that. I think we can internally replace it. Mesut Ozil isn't leaving until 2055. God forbid. Ozil should play lots of games, make him face the fans, and not hide away. No, but I don't want him to play lots of games if he's not giving his all. That's the detriment to us. I get the theory behind it, Dan. I just don't think that's the way of working it. I'm going to annoy AJ again just because he decided to put that note. But there's 67 people, 20 likes, something's going on. Something's amiss. Please drive those likes through the roof. Like, let's annoy AJ since he hates that, apparently. Just drive down likes through that. I'll tell you what, just to stop me moaning and to stop AJ moaning about me moaning, get me through 40 likes, I'll stop pitching. 40 likes, what, live? Given that it's late, I will forgive the fact that, not everybody's here. 40 likes and I'll stop pitching. Did Lee put up a video about the Arsenal realists and delete today? I'm not aware of it. I watched bits of Lee's videos earlier. I didn't see him talk about that. I mean, someone's always mentioning this Arsenal realist every single time I do a show. Mad. We talk about wingers, but what about Traore from Middlesbrough? Not for me. Not for me. I know we're not necessarily aiming for the creme de la creme, but we could do better than that. Not for me. I like Tyranny. I hope we can get him. Yep, me too. Well, AJ, that's part of being a YouTube channel. Sometimes you have to say things over and over again. Like, I need to, I need you, everybody to subscribe, like, comment. That's just part of being not the only person that repeats these things. That's marketing, mate. Look it up next time. Don One, all good, bro. I don't agree with you about Zayat, but your channel's going to Don One. Listen, it's banter, mate. I don't hate on you. Just like the AJ thing. Listen, AJ has listened to me for some time. Me and him are cool. I just didn't like the semi-aggressiveness of his comment about liking videos. Like, well, mate, I'm not the only person that bangs on about likes. So Don One, all love, baby, all love. What I like about my fan base is we don't always agree about everything, but you guys generally are quite respectful. Generally. Not all the time, but generally. Generally respectful. I like Tyranny. I hope we can get him. Me too. Me too. Or Tyranny, because I know people hate when I say tyranny. Tyranny. I like the idea of 70 million for Zaha. It just hurts my feelings. I want the centre back, for fuck's sake. Exactly, Dan Matt. That's why I don't think spending that much money on Zaha is particularly good use of our money. And Rising has just hit the nail on the head. I'd rather get a few players than just one for 70 million. What I will say is if they go up to 70 million for Zaha, these motherfuckers clearly have some dough. They clearly have some dough. And I do agree with what Kavar says. I do think it suits them for people to think that they don't have money. Because it does. Let's be real here. Every time Man City go for a player, don't think that price don't go up another 20 million. You know, and that's just what, you know, also foreign teams do that all the time. If as soon as they know their English team is interested, they put the price up. So it does suit Arsenal for the idea that Arsenal are strapped for cash. It does suit them that idea is out there. So yeah, I do agree with that. But the way it's been made into this massive story, like what was said today that I didn't know yesterday, other than apparently Arsenal value him up to 70 million. That's all I saw. Thoughts on signing in Paulo Diablo. So let me tell you something. If we let go of Aubameyang, that is who we should sign. I've said it. I've said it. I've said it. If we let go of Aubameyang, that is who. If we target Diablo while letting go, don't get it twisted, people. I recognize this is unlikely. I'm just saying, if we let go of Aubameyang, that's who I want us to get. I don't want any long team. I don't want us to mess around. That's who I want us to get. Because he has said on a couple of occasions that he'd be looking to leave Juventus. But I think he's surprised how little interest there is in him. So for that reason, we may be able to get him. Pepe instead of Zaha. Oh, don't get me started. Let me start. Pepe instead of Zaha. Ziyech instead of Zaha. There are so many better options out there. Chig, what happened to Alexis Claude Maurice? He has gone to, or he's about to go. He's either gone or he's about to go to. I reported it the other day. Feel like it's a Spanish team. Could be a German team. he ain't coming to us, basically. Long story short, it's a German team. Can't remember what team he went to yet. Chig, did I get the new shirt? No, I am not, VP. I will be. I just haven't got myself to the Arsenal shop yet because I work, brother. You know this. Saturday, I will be getting it. Can you explain to me how other teams seem to have so much more money than us? Well, this, I suppose, plays into the Cavor theory, Philip. So he believes that Arsenal clearly have money. If they want a player, they'll get the player. Like, don't get it twisted. It just suits them for this narrative that Arsenal are poor. It suits them. It suits them in their negotiations. And in a lot of ways, I can see that. I can see that. And sometimes this transfer window stuff is poker, you know. And when you're playing poker, you don't reveal your hand. You don't reveal that you're about, you could do this or you could do that. You know, it's not a particularly classy way of doing transfer business because you have to play games like unsettling players with low ball offers. You have to just do shit like that. You have to try and bid low ball, and it's embarrassing if you're an Arsenal fan. It is. But it's the only way that we can get these players at some sort of reasonable price. So listen, I'm no Stan Kroenke fan. Believe me, I would still prefer him to leave. But I can see the logic that provided what Cavor said was correct today, and to be honest, it's not too far away from what I initially thought anyway. I could see the strategy. Whether it will work or not is another question. Get them lights up. Yes, please do get them lights up. Thank you. It will help if someone else says it, then it won't annoy people so much. You need to check out Arsenal Real Estate right up the street, man. No, it ain't right up my street because he keeps dissing people that I'm friends with. So it ain't right up my street. Listen, I've said it before and I'll say it again. This is the last time I'll comment on this Arsenal Realist. Every single day someone asks me about this, right? I think the kid is doing his thing. I know people comment on the things he wears and stuff. He's doing his thing. You know, I'm not going to knock him for it. He's not really spoken about me, so I can't really say anything about him. He's doing his thing. He's clearly getting a lot of traction. He's growing every single day. But this is my opinion. This is just my opinion. I think sooner or later, he's going to have to concentrate on what he says rather than what other people say. Because I think there's only so much of a shelf life that's going to have. Because at the moment, people are wondering, all right, what's the next thing he'll say about a.f.c, or what's the next thing he'll say about Gooner, or what's the next thing he'll say about Claude? All right, cool. In 6 months, are people still going to be interested? I have my doubts. And I think for him, it's about how he transitions from that. To me, I'm not really that bothered that he wears that mop or whatever it is on his head. Whatever. If it's his gimmick, it's his gimmick. Power to him. But to me, I'm more intrigued if he has something to say for himself as opposed to what other people are saying. That's just my opinion. That's not even me trying to throw shade. That is my opinion. Okay? The last time I will talk about it because people always ask this question about Arsenal Realist. Just like the video. Thank you, mate. Thank you. We need Zayat, man. Yeah. Boots, you're finally here. Just as I'm starting to wind down. You're on the slow thing again. Kroenke in. No chance, Hyper. Come on now. Come on now. You know me better. No chance. I still think for the club to grow and expand and develop in the way that I want it to, Stan needs to leave. Just saying. Paul Claude was getting abused to his live stream and he ended it short. I feel for Claude. I do feel for Claude. Because he does take these things more personally than I do. Me, I just block. I block like it's 1999. Trust. The VIP party that's going on in the block party is ridiculous. Stuttgart, that was the team I was thinking of. For Alexis Claude Sanchez, yes. Good evening, Ninzi Loft. Chig, your goal return, what would you expect of Zaha? Oh, good question, Mike Hirsch. If he was to sign, it's unfortunate because it's not his fault if he's to be signed for crazy money. But I ain't gonna lie, if he goes for more than 60 million, I expect at least 15 goals from this guy. And I ain't talking about assists. I expect at least 15 goals from him. I don't think 15 is being kind, but let's put it into perspective. He's a winner. To me, though, I just think, why not go for Pepe for that? Why? To me, they're just better options. They are better options out there. I'm not convinced by Zaha. I never have been. You guys know this. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's an amazing player, and I certainly don't think he is worthy of being our highest ever player if we do buy him for 70 million. Just to think, it would be a record buy, would be Wilfried Zaha. Don't sit well with me. I don't even know why, it just doesn't. If we lose Uber, I want Diablo or Cavani. Not Cavani, too old. But I'm with you on the Diablo one. So we have 45 million plus £2. That would so be the bid, isn't it? Well, we've gone in for 40. So logic says we'll go in for 45 plus Chambers or Jenkinson. I think that would be the second bid. I think if Arsenal are serious, just put the 50 on the table, offer these two players. And to be perfectly honest, I think that's a fucking reasonable bid. It's a reasonable bid. I think Chambers in today's market has to be worth 15 million. Carl Jenkinson, maybe another 5. That's a reasonable bid. If they don't want it, forget flipping Zaha. To be honest, I already think 40 million is too much. But, if we're going to go all the way on this, let's really slap our balls on the table and say, okay, you reject 50. Let's come with a real bid. Here's 50 million plus Chambers plus Jenkinson. Take it or leave it. Take it. Oh, you're going to leave it? Cool. Peace. I've got other options out there. Cheaper options out there. And in my view, better options out there. Yeah. See, people are saying it now. 50 million max for Zaha. Zaha will cost 60 million. Basaka went for 50. Yeah, but Brandon, they also wanted 70 for Basaka. But I get your point, yes, because obviously Zaha has the 25% sell-on clause. But we are in the position of power here. We have backup options. So if they want an unhappy player, have at it. Have at it. Gee, what if Zaha turns out to be another Ozil? The one thing I will say, VP, is I do think that Zaha works harder than Ozil. I think he will cause more problems than Ozil. I do think that I read an article today, and I completely agree with it, where they say that Zaha gives Arsenal something that they've missed for a long time, and that's this sense of chaos in a counter-attack. And I do agree, because we've experienced it when Zaha gets to the ball and they're on their counter-attack, we just think, oh shit. I want us to give people them worries again. That, oh shit. Let's get back, let's get back, let's get back. Been a long time since we had that. Because usually it's Ozil that gets to the ball and then drifts left, then drifts right. And then by the time we're actually in some sort of position to counter-attack, the entire team that we're counter-attacking against has got back. I want us to be fast and quick and accurate with the counter-attack again, which we're not at the moment. And that's the thing. For all of the criticism my man gets, the only person capable of doing that is Iwobi. And even Iwobi is not as quick as Wilfried Zaha. It's not as mobile as Wilfried Zaha. So even though I'm a little bit concerned, shall we say, over the deal, but I do recognize talents when I see it. And he has some talents. He does have some talents. Zaha or Ziyech? Oh, come on, Wilson. Wilson, you clearly don't watch the show, brother. Ziyech all day. Ziyech is the one deal I won. Fraser Carrasco. Fraser for me. I do think Carrasco is the more talented player, but I think Fraser's the harder worker. Titi or Dunk? Ooh. I have Dunk. I do like Dunk a lot, man. He'd be cheaper. He's Premier League proven. He doesn't have this knee injury concern. Dunk. Even though I think Titi is a good player, but there is that question mark over him. Whereas with Dunk, we know what we're getting. Oh, speaking of which, by the way, let me retort one idiot that commented on one of my videos the other day, right? So I mentioned yesterday that, Harry Maguire is just this big lump, and I feel like we could get better. Please don't misunderstand me. And I say that because I've said the same thing about Dunk, and people are saying that I'm being hypocritical. I'm going to twist it. If we're talking about Harry Maguire for 30 million, then I understand what you're saying. But 85 million for Harry Maguire, I need a little bit something more than just a big lump. I'd have him. I think he's a good player. But 85 million is nuts. 50 million is probably about right, but we obviously have no chance of that. And this guy just commenting going, no, you're being hypocritical because you said that you would have Lewis Dunk because he's a big lump. But now you're saying you wouldn't have Harry Maguire because he's a big lump. No, I didn't say I wouldn't have Harry Maguire. I said that he is a big lump, but an 85 million big lump? No thanks. If you're going to quote me, quote me. Wilson, that one's hard. Saliba is so. If we get Dunk, so that was your last question, then I would get Saliba. Saliba alongside a Dunk would be a good way of improving that defense. The young apprentice and then the big lump, Premier League proven lump. Yeah, I'm happy with that. What is Zaha turns out to be another Ozil. Just read that. 50 million max. Someone complimented me about my trim, but I can't find the comment. Zaha, 12 goals and 15 assists. More realistic. Don't want to see Zaha running at me. I'll tell you. Exactly. Zaha does give more fear than anyone else currently in our team. Exactly. It's that kind of chaos. That idea of, oh shit. But I say this as a defender. Let me tell you something, right? Forget how big my ass is now, right? I didn't have a too bad pace back in the day when I was a kid, right? But the last thing that you wanted to see was some idiot running at you, galloping at pace. It's the scariest thing in the world as a defender. And it causes mistakes. See Mustafi. You wanted any evidence of that? See Mustafi. Right? So I do think he would give that sense of chaos in our team that we need in a good way. That idea of someone causing chaos, just attacking and running. But he is a diva. He is someone that can be inconsistent. But I also counter that with the argument that he does love the club. He clearly loves the club and loves the idea of being the club. And I do think that quality is an undervalued quality. I think if we can utilize that alongside his talents, maybe we'll have something. I just don't like the idea of overpaying for it. I started to dislike us as a person as well. I think he's very manipulative. Oh, yeah. I read that article today. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. We're talking about the man with the best PR team in the UK easily. Easily. He knows what he's doing. Thank you, Mr. Joseph. I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you. Follow Dean Soup, people, and just give me a like. There's 82 people watching, 37 likes. Please do hit that like button. Almost at that magical 40 where I could stop bitching about it. So do help me on my way. I've said it all along. We have more money than everybody else is suggesting. Yep, you have actually. I've seen you say that before. And I think my comment was, I hope so. So yeah. What would you say to Tyranny's weakness? What would you say Tyranny's weaknesses are, Chick? Oh, that's a good question. I think he's a well-balanced defender. Excellent cross of the ball. I would probably say weaknesses. Maybe he's a little bit physically weak. I don't think he's as strong as people make out. Just from a physical standpoint, but he's not a particularly big guy. But I think he can adapt. I do think he can adapt. And it could just be the fact that the Scottish League is a physical league, to be fair. But I'd probably say that's his only weakness, just from a physical standpoint. Like if his back's against the wall, tracking back, and a cross comes looping over, can he shield out? Can he shepherd that right back, that right winger out? That's my only question on that. And he's injury prone, yeah. He can be a bit injury prone. I agree with Don Juan there. But other than that, he's a very, very good left back. Very good left back. You're doing a brilliant job, too. Thank you, Wilson. Appreciate it, brother. One of my early first-time listeners there. Ozil, Xhaka, Mustafi are simply not good enough and need to go. Add Mickey in there. People forget about Mickey. Not that many. Also, keep in mind, G, they sometimes play him at centre-back, so he can't be that bad defensively if he plays there. Like, can you imagine Kolasinac playing as centre-back? This was just shivers. Chick, are you optimistic about Emre next season? Potentially. Ask me that question again at the end of the transfer window, Brandon. Ask me that question again. When is El Nene going to get sold? I'm with you on that, Franklin. I have no idea. I must admit, I'm sort of with you, Wilson. It's very clear that those two don't have a good relationship. Why Ozil? Ozil's almost like he's staying just to spite him. So yeah, I'm kind of with you. I think you'll see something happen, Rising. You watch. It will be impossible for them to not buy at least one defender. It'll be impossible. Zaha will make Ozil a better player. All right, guys. What time is it? Fucking hell, they're going on and on and on. It's 11:30. Shit. Let's go another 3 minutes. Let's go to 36. 3 minutes. I think the most player sales will happen in August, I suspect. Yeah, but there'll be loans. I'm worrying about. I think there'll be loans just to get their wages off the books. Because Arsenal seem to have this huge issue selling players. Who would be the best replacement for Ramsey? For me, Emil Smith Rowe. In my view, I'm seeing enough in his game that I reckon he can do it. Would Fekir be a great signing for Arsenal? Honestly, Wilson isn't my honest opinion. If we could get rid of Mesut Ozil, yes. Because I think he's the number 10 waiting to happen. And I've always fancied him in that number 10 position for Arsenal. And the idea that we could get him for only 30 million is an appealing one, but we need to shift this dead weight off our books. That's our problem. Jimmy Matt, 40 million for Zaha plus a Wobie. I'll be up for that. I bet that surprised you. I'll be up for that as well. Anyone else think we're going to use this shit? When she says 3 minutes, make it 10. I'm not Lee, BP. I left last time on time. 1 more minute just to prove a point. 1 more minute. Give me 1 more question to go out on, and I'm out of here. Please don't forget, if you haven't already, do put a like on the video. What's the point of learning them? Just give them away for fuck's sake. I'm with you, Dan. I can feel the frustration in you. I'm with you. What's the deal with Ozil for another season until his contract is up? We're going to finish last. Where are we going to finish next season, Chief? All right, let's finish with that question. I think if we bring in the players that we're being linked with, not all of them, people, like the people that we are literally supposedly in talks with, I think we'll scrape fourth. I do think we'll do better than we did this season. I do. Whether we'll win something or not is another question, but I do think we'll get fourth. I do think Emre will be a little bit more careful in the league and pick up more of the points that we should have last season, and we'll get fourth. So that's pretty much it, people. I hope you enjoyed this video. Oh my gosh, I'm an idiot. Apologies. 1 more fucking story. I'm looking at my title, like I didn't even talk about Nacho. So Nacho Monreal. It was a story that suddenly came out earlier today that Nacho had cancelled his contract with Arsenal and he'd left. And people were like, what the fuck? How can he cancel his contract? I knew this was bullshit when the story came up because I knew that Arsenal had an option to automatically extend. And I always maintained that I felt we would extend to sell. And, you know, it's come back that Nacho is expected to come back to preseason training next week. And people don't know where the story came from. Yeah, then there was another story that came out that apparently Real Sociedad, which are a team that are constantly linked with Nacho Monreal, that they're interested in him. Now, I will say this, for me, I think there is some smoke to the false alarm here. I do think there's a little bit of smoke. But I'm not 100% sure. But I do find it interesting. I'm wondering what is behind this. I'm wondering if there is something around this. Do let me know what you guys think. Leave it in the comments because I know this is going to be the last thing that I talk about. But let me know what you think is going on here. Do you think that there is something to this story? I do. I think there might be, particularly if we get this tyranny deal over the line. I've always said I feel Nacho would be the one to go, even though if it was possible, I would replace both of them. I'd replace Kolasinac as well, but I think it'll be a one at a time thing, and I think Nacho will be the one to go. And if he does go, thank you, Nacho. I think for the years you've put in, you've done amazingly well, and good luck in your future. I do think there is something there. And Missy, anytime you want to send me a bottle of Henny, it'll be greatly received. Trust me, if there is any kind of sponsor I can get for this show, Hennessy would be it. Or the company behind Hennessy would be it. Trust me on that one. Henny's my favorite drink. My favorite drink. Anyway, guys, that's pretty much it. I'm out. Sorry I didn't talk about that story straight away. I ain't gonna lie, straight up forgot. But do hit the subscribe button. And I'll be back tomorrow with another Eagle Eye. Also, for you MMA guys, your boxing guys, me and Ola will be back on tomorrow together, doing a filthy casual and hardcore show. We'll be talking about the 239 card. We'll be talking about the Ruiz Joshua rematch. We'll be talking about Francis Ngannou. I've had a couple of requests already. Yes, I'll be talking about Kieran versus Rance very, very briefly. We'll be talking about all sorts of little stuff. So do keep an eye out on that. Me and Ola will be live tomorrow from about 8 onwards. So my Eagle Eye episode will be a recorded one, and I'll drop that pretty much as soon as I get here. There'll be a double video thing, so keep an eye on that. The best thing to do if you want to make sure you don't miss that show is hit that notification bell. That is the best way of keeping an eye on it. I don't really put too much stuff out on Twitter because with Twitter, I ain't gonna lie, I'm trying to phase myself out of that a little bit. But do keep an eye out on these shows. I'll be back tomorrow, people. I'm out of here. Enjoy what is left of your Wednesday night. I'll be back tomorrow. Peace.